back to my channel. I am Jusslex, and if you are new here, stop what you're doing and click the subscribe button immediately. So today I'm going to do a very different video, one that I had to think about. Like, one I want to record and get out into the world, but also one that I am afraid to record as well. I'm afraid to admit and make myself vulnerable and be transparent because this is such a touchy subject. So this video is very near and dear to my heart. I struggle with this every day, and I want to bring awareness to it and stop suffering in silence, because I believe other people also suffer from this disease as well. So without further ado, let's jump into the video. I wrote down some notes because this is a lot to take in, and I didn't want to skip over anything or miss anything. But if I do and you all have questions, put it in the comment box below and I will be sure to answer to the best of my ability. I need to put this out as a disclaimer. I am in no way a medical professional whatsoever. What I am telling you is strictly my own experience with this disease and how it has affected me and, you know, things of that nature. Okay, so I am going to be talking about, I'm not even gonna pronounce this correctly, so I will put it up here somewhere. Hidradenitis Supperativa, also known as HS or acne inversa. It is a chronic disease, and some doctors might even say it's a autoimmune disease. But before we get technical, let me tell you why I decided to actually record this video. I wanted to record this video for the longest time, but every time I got ready to sit down to record this video, I stopped myself because HS is not pretty, and a lot of diseases aren't pretty. Nothing is pretty about being sick or any of that, but it stopped me from putting up this video and getting my word out about how I deal with it or how it is affecting me, because I didn't want to be judged. I didn't want to be looked at, I don't know, as a victim. I don't know. It's just a lot of things that stopped me from making this video, and I wish I would have gotten it out sooner, but instead I decided to suffer in silence because not even a lot of doctors have heard of HS, and if they have heard of HS, they don't know exactly how to treat it. And there is no cure for this. So it's more like, let me be the guinea pig and let them run all these things, give me all these antibiotics, all these different treatments, and I didn't want to do that. So I just, I was my own guinea pig. I did my own, as natural as I could, things to myself to prevent flare-ups. So this past summer, on American Idol, there was a guy who spoke out about his disease, and it was HS. And I was so mind blown because I didn't even know guys or men got this. I thought it was specifically for women. And while I did not do a lot of research, please do your own research. Don't just take my word, because everyone's body is different. Everyone reacts differently to HS. But the fact that he went on TV and spoke about it was amazing. And I'm like, if he can do it, I can do it. So here I am. So let me look down at my notes, and I don't want this to be a long video, so let me just jump right into it. There is no cure for this disease, which I already explained. Many doctors aren't sure how to even treat it or even treat you for the flare-ups that you might experience. They want to prescribe you prescriptions, and those aren't always the answer. So you have to know your body, and you have to know how medications or antibiotics or topicals are going to affect you. HS is considered an autoimmune disease, which is basically where your body is attacking itself, specifically attacking the sweat glands and hair follicles. This disease attacks areas where a lot of sweat is produced, such as under the arms, in between your thighs, your butt, under your breasts. It could be anywhere. And it's not just those areas. Those are just the common areas. But depending on that person, it can affect them anywhere. This disease is also chronic, which means reoccurring. It will not go away, but you can stop it from occurring so much. And it is also not contagious. When I first got HS, and it was on my private area, they're not, it's not, I can't say it's not okay, but if you're intimate with a partner and having to explain to them like what that is, and then having them not know what it is and automatically assuming that you're dirty, is really heartbreaking. It's really sad, actually. And it's like, if they don't understand, then they don't deserve you, because this flare-up will only last, I don't know, it depends. It can last a couple days, it can last a couple weeks, but once it's gone, I don't feel like they deserve you. If you can't accept me when I'm looking messed up, if you can't accept me when my condition or my disease is flaring up, then you don't deserve me at this, with no flare-ups, looking good as hell. And that's just how I feel about it. Being a woman makes you more likely to get HS than, being a man. So, aren't we so lucky to be women? Okay, so for the longest, I ignored the flare-ups. I've always suffered from acne. So I wrote this off as being like just a bad acne. Hello and welcome back. I am recording again because I did stop recording whatever day that was. So I wanted to finish my video on HS. So for the longest time, I ignored these flare-ups and put them off as acne. I have suffered with acne for a while, or basically my whole adolescence or whatever. I still suffer with acne to this day. So when I got these flare-ups, or when I would get these flare-ups, I just said it was a bad acne episode, and I really didn't think anything of it, because I have had some horrible acne episodes, like on my face, on my nose. It was like ridiculous. My dad used to call me, I think one time my acne was like on my nose in like 3 lines or something. He called me the gingerbread man or something. But when I got these flare-ups, they were just as bad as that. So I was like, well, it's just acne. And I didn't, I was tired of going to the dermatologist, getting shots, like nothing. Every time I went to the dermatologist, nothing was ever accomplished. I would get antibiotics, I would get a shot, but it never really calmed down my acne or calmed down the flare-ups or any of that. I was ashamed. I didn't know what it was. And I thought the worst, like I could have an STD or something horrible. I just, like when you think you have something and then you Google it and it says you're gonna die in 5 seconds, that's kind of how my mind went. So I was like, I'm just going to ignore it. And if it's something more than that, my body will let me know. And then eventually I will have to go to the doctors. So I wasn't diagnosed with HS until 2018 because a lot of doctors just said it was acne. A lot of doctors don't really have, you know, they don't really know a lot about HS or acne and versa. So if you haven't watched any of my videos, I work full-time as a nanny. And one of my previous families, both of the parents were doctors, and she was a dermatologist. And she has expertise when it comes to hidradenitis suppurativa. So one day I went to work and I had this gigantic, like, I have to say it's like this big, a gigantic boil under my arm, and I could not put my arm down. So I went into work like this, and I would move and do things like this because I didn't want to put my arm down to put, you know, to cause like pressure or friction. So I told her, and she told me to come in, and she relieved the pain. They incise it. They cut it, or she made a little slit, drained it, and then treated it. So I have been going to her, and luckily, you know, I really haven't had that many flare-ups. I typically know when I will get a flare-up because I have began to listen to my body, and I have recently been experimenting and all this other good stuff, but I'll tell you about that after. I remember the first time I really got a really bad flare-up, and I should have said this before because now I'm going out of order. But in 2012, when I was pregnant with Taryn, I got a boil in between my butt cheeks, like right where my tailbone is. And that's like when you sit down, it's going to be bothered. And I just thought, I don't know what I thought, but I could not sit down. I could not walk. I didn't want to do anything. I was crying at even getting in the car. So I went to the hospital, and they just said it was because my body was producing so many hormones. That's why I got that boil. But there was nothing they could do for me because I was pregnant. So I went home, and Taryn's father's grandmother deals with boils, or, you know, like old people have all the remedies. So she gave me some salt pork, which is like some type of meat, I guess. And she put it right, like directly on the boil. So she put the salt side of the salt pork onto the boil. And she said, this will bring it to a head and it will pop. When I tell you, when I woke up the next morning, it literally popped. It was disgusting. It smelled horrible. It was horrible, but I was relieved because it had finally popped. It was ridiculous. It's really hard having HS, and when you get these flare-ups and you're in so much pain and no one really knows, you know, how you actually feel, because for one, when they look at it, it could be, it doesn't even have to come through on the skin, but it still hurts because it's on the inside, if that makes sense. So explain to someone that you're in pain or you don't feel like doing anything because you're currently having a flare-up. I don't know. It's like, everything is really just disheartening with this, in my opinion. I wanted to record this video and have it up days ago, and then I got a flare-up, and I'm gonna insert a pic. It was big, and it was on the inside of my thigh. I couldn't walk. I didn't want to go to work. I didn't want to do anything because that's how intense it was. And although it was sticking out, looking at it, a lot of people are like, oh, you know, that's just pop it. No, you don't want to do that because then you will get scars. And I have enough scars. I also got one here on my neck. And it's, you know, like I said, I've always suffered from acne. Always. I don't wear makeup, so I don't cover it up. But like here, this one was really, really big, and it was really painful. It's just, I don't know, it's like a lot of things that makes me not want to record, but at the same time, I feel like if I get my story out there, it might help somebody else. stop suffering in silence. You know, I don't want to seem extreme or obnoxious when I get flare-ups, but most of the time when I do get them, I feel like I am dying. Now, I have had 3 kids, all born naturally, like no medication whatsoever. But having kids and having a flare-up is totally different. And people are always like, oh, you're fine, girl, you had 3 kids. I don't care if I had 10 kids. You trying to tell me how I feel, or you're trying to tell me how I feel when I get a flare-up, is BS, because we can definitely trade places and then you can know how it really feels. Hidradenitis suppurativa occurs for many different reasons, and it depends on your body. It could be diet, which is diet is like the #1 cause for anything happening within your body. Wearing tight clothes, irritation of those certain areas, so like irritation of your underarms, always wearing clothes, having tight jeans on, whatever, obesity, and so many other things. It is okay to experience HS. It is okay to be ashamed. It is okay to be afraid to open up, because like I said, I was afraid, I was ashamed, I was all of those things. Pay attention to your body, know your body, listen to your body, because you know yourself better than anyone else. I typically get flare-ups really badly in my underarms. Let me see, so it goes my underarms first, and then like my thighs and my private area. And from what I have read and what I understand about myself and this disease, my clothes probably are a little too tight, because I feel like all girls' clothes are tight, but they don't have to be as tight, and I know that. Obesity, I can lose some weight. Let's be honest. I can lose some weight, and it would make a difference. It really would. When I started working out, like back in October, which is not that long ago, but in October I did a 30-day diet and a workout change. So I started keto, and I worked out 6 days a week. And during those 30 days, I did not get one single flare-up. But then I twisted my ankle pretty badly, and it still hurts to this day. So when I twisted my ankle, that stopped me from working out, which made me upset, because I was like, I've done all this work, I made all this progress, and now I can't even work out because of my ankle. So I really regressed. Like, I stopped my diet, I stopped working out, I stopped everything. And now I'm getting flare-ups again. So that's something. Dairy is disgusting, but I love dairy. I love ice cream. I love me a good Frappuccino from Starbucks. Like, dairy is a big trigger, and I'm starting to make changes to drinking almond milk or cashew milk. I really love coconut milk, but it has a lot of sodium, so there's that. But typically when I do work out, I have very few flare-ups. If I am drinking a lot of coffee, eating a lot of dairy, even eating a lot of sweets, I'm gonna get a flare-up. All in all, HS is nothing to be ashamed of. You are not dirty. You are just as worthy as anyone else, and don't let anyone else tell you that you're not. You don't have to struggle in silence. There are many Facebook groups. I'm pretty sure there are lots of videos on YouTube about HS, and I'm here, you know, so you can put or, you know, leave some questions or some comments in the description box, and I will be sure to answer. If you are not already following me on Instagram, follow me at _Miss White_, and I look forward to seeing you all again. All right, that's the end of my video. I hope you all enjoyed it. Remember, if you have questions, leave it below, and I will see you next time. Peace.